to lead.
You have to kind of work twice as hard.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to this episode of The Conversation on TUS TV, your digital first Pan-African television. It's good to have you here this morning. My name is Osaze Isesele, and I'm here with the delectable.
I am Ade Suwasi. Good morning and welcome to the show.
All right, together we're going to be anchoring the conversation this morning, and it promises to be a nice time together. Adesua, you look so beautiful. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
All right, we'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll bring you development stories across Africa. It's still the conversation. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. It's still the conversation on TUS TV, your digital first Pan-African television. Now it's time for us to bring you stories across Africa. And the first story we have here this morning says, Nigerian Military High Command visit troops in Borno State. The newly appointed Chief of Defense Staff will have to prove he can handle the Islamic insurgency that has killed over 36,000 people. The Nigerian Military High Command met security forces in the northeast town of Maiduguri on Sunday in an effort to lift spirits in decade-long crackdown on the Islamist insurgency. These last few months, militants of the Boko Haram and Islamic State in the West African province, Islamist groups have increased their attacks in the northern regions of Nigeria. Now, despite President Muhammadu Buhari's promise to crush the jihadist rebellion, Islamist groups still control vast rural areas and strategic roads where attacks and kidnappings are increasing. With many criticizing the strategy of the previous High Command, the newly named Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Leo Irabo, will have to prove he can handle the Islamic insurgency that has killed over 36,000 people and displaced an additional 2 million people.
And not far away from that story, we move over to Somalia, where Islamist militants were involved in a gun battle with security forces at a hotel in the capital of Somalia, Mogadishu. Now, Al-Shabaab said it was behind the attack in the Africa Hotel, which began with a car bomb on Sunday afternoon. It is not yet confirmed how many casualties there are, but police said many people have been rescued. The group, which is linked to Al-Qaeda, regularly carries out attacks against the government. A car hit the hotel's front entrance and detonated before gunmen stormed the building, according to officials and others at the scene.
Now we move over to Libya, where Libyan delegates meet to designate new prime minister. Delegates will have until Friday to choose a new prime minister and presidential council. It will be a decisive week for those who wish for long-lasting peace in Libya. Now, participants in the UN-sponsored Inter-Libyan Dialogue are meeting on Monday in order to choose a new Prime Minister and Presidential Council, a move that will help lead the transition in the conflict-ridden country as many hope to see elections in December 2021.
And now to COVID-19 story. Ghana is set to vaccinate over 17 million against COVID-19. That says the president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo. Now, Ghana is on course to get at least 17.6 million people vaccinated against COVID-19 pandemic by the end of June. In a televised speech late Sunday, the president said the government is working with bilateral and multilateral partners to achieve its aim to vaccinate the entire population of Ghana. Now, in a statement by him, he says, and I quote, "I indicated our intention to procure our first consignment of the COVID vaccine within the first half of this year." That's by Akufo-Addo. And much work has been done towards the realization of this.
All right, that's the wrap up for our development stories across Africa. We will now bring you our COVID-19 update, and we will be right back. Stay tuned.
And that was the COVID-19 update from across Africa. Remember, take precautions, wear your face mask, hand sanitizer, wash your hands. Proper eye hygiene is important at this time so we can, eradicate COVID completely. Now, moving on to the newspaper headlines for this morning, I'm going to be starting with The Punch. The Punch usually have very colorful headlines. I'm going to start with the very obvious headline there. It says, headsman invites armed kingsmen to dominate Oyo farms. That says Monarch. Now we have 3 riders under that. Herders cutting down cocoa trees, burning cashew plantations. That's from the traditional rulers. And then Oyo plans compensation for victims. Community welcomes Makinde with protests. And Ogun silent on Igboho's visit, says Abiodun aides misquoted on alleged invitation. And then just on the top of the Punch newspaper this morning, it's on security. It says security agencies will enforce jail terms against COVID-19 violators. That's coming from the PTF. And then with state police, Amotekun won't be necessary, says former President Olusegun Obasanjo. And then this is coming from telcos. It says NIN, telcos minister mid turnout rises by 40%. This is on the national identification number. And just on top of that, banks non-performing loans rise to 1.5 trillion naira. That is on the page 17 of the Punch this morning. And we have other headlines, just very not so glaring headlines there this morning. This one says, Buhari Atiku, governors, others mourn as ex-minister Momo dies. Ex-governor Oni unveils bid for 2022 governorship, and Kwara community protests headsmen incessant farm destruction, killings and rape. And then just under that, it says contempt, IG risk imprisonment as court summons police boss. Still on the police boss, police summon Ogun hotelier over CCTV cameras uncovered in rooms. Zamfara fumes as PTF lists 5 COVID-19 high-risk states. Those are the headlines on the Punch newspaper this morning. If you want to get, which I think you should just buy a copy of the Punch newspaper.
All right, so on the newspaper review, we move on to Nigerian Tribune. The very, very glaring headline there, which you'll find on page 4 and 5, says reps to begin probe of 83.9 billion naira COVID-19 funds. Reps to begin probe of 83.9 billion naira COVID-19 funds. It has about 4 riders, and it says how money was disbursed. IGP orders enforcement of face mask use. Lagos boosts case management at Luth FMC with 200 million naira grant, and Ondo to introduce staggered classes. Now, just above that, you have Segun Oni joins Ekiti governorship race. You can find that on page 23 of Nigerian Tribune. Then page 27, you have the story, presidency remains tight-lipped on appointment of new IGP. And you also have the next one, FG meets Sanu Nasu today over planned strike. FG meets Sanu Nasu today over planned strike. And then just at the top of that, you'll find Tony Momo dies at 81. Buhari govs Mon. Just before that, you also have Sunday Igboho in Yewa vows to work with Ogun government on Hedas menace. We didn't invite him, says the government. Still on the Nigerian Tribune, you'll find a story. Lamist Senako, PDP Reform Unity Forum, collapse structure, commits to Oyo APC unity. That you can find on the Nigerian Tribune. On the top, rather on the bottom, you would also find this story. It's more like a report. It says, Nigeria's 3 refineries incur 18 billion naira operating deficit in 3 months. So you should get yourself a copy of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper to get more of the stories in there.
Moving over to the national economy, this one is for people that are interested, in stock markets, what the Nigerian economy is saying. This morning, starting from the very gaping headline still, it says 59.7% Nigerians oppose FG's move to borrow from dormant accounts balances. That's the PwC report. A rider under that says 2020 Finance Act will accelerate Nigeria's economic recovery. That's coming from the finance minister. Now, at the bottom of the daily this morning, it says federal government to create mineral processing cluster in Cross Rivers. And then beside it has a COVID-19 headline. It says COVID-19, court shuns down Wuse market, others for non-compliance. And then just on top of the national economy, PNB, Moroccan King, finalized agreement on Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline. And then TEF appoints 3 women into top executive positions. That I'm very interested in.
All right, we'll move over to the Daily Times. Very gaping headline right there. You know, COVID-19 has just been repetitive across all the stories we've been taking. And this one says FG orders security agencies to enforce COVID-19 protocols. You can find that on page 2. Federal government orders security agencies to enforce COVID-19 protocols. And down, just below that headline, you have also COVID-19. Presidential task force declares Kogi state high-risk state, warns against visits. Presidential task force declares Kogi high-risk state and warns against visits. Just after that, you see legislature. Senate Constitution Review Committee considers 2014 confab and APC reports. And then the next one says insecurity. Sunday Igboho storms Ogun, insists killer headsmen must vacate Southwest. More of those stories you can find on the Daily Times.
Okay, moving over to the blueprint, I'm going to start with something similar to what just has it here read on the Daily Times. It says COVID-19 protocols, Kogi high-risk state, PTF alerts Nigerians. Now it has 4 riders under it. The first one says, slams Yobe, Zamfara, Kebbi, Jigawa for irregular testing. And then court shuns Wuse Market, UTC, Mog Plaza in Abuja, convicts 100. I'm sure that's for breaking COVID-19 protocols. Federal government mills UAE, Netherlands flight suspension. APC, Jibwe's Matan caution members. Can urges Christian leaders on reckless confidence. And then the last one says, Africa lagging behind on vaccines, US warns. That is the very gaping headline on the blueprints this morning. Moving over to something just beneath that, it says, Buni reconciles ex-governor Yari Marafa factions, vows to reclaim Zamfara. And then just at the bottom part of the blueprint, 7.65 billion naira fraud, ex-Abia governor Kalu's trial resumes today. And then this one is in kidnapping, 17 arrested, 19 rescued in Benue raid. And then World Hijab Day, Form 16 legislation against harassment of girls. Kano records 118 leprosy cases in 2020. That is quite sad, actually. And then still on the blueprint, just below the blueprint, it says why new IGP is yet to be appointed. That is coming from the presidency. A lot of people have been worried about, he hasn't called for, police meeting and stuff like that because the tenure of the former IGP just ended yesterday. And then I think the presidency is giving reasons as to why they haven't appointed a new IGP yet. Amcan takes over Educon's 1.3 billion naira assets. And then Tony Momo dies at 82. APC mourns. Southeast, Southwest top gender-based violence cases in Nigeria. Quite interesting headlines here this morning. I think you should get yourself a copy of the Blueprint newspaper.
All right, finally, we wrap up with Daily Independent. Still same line of story. Federal government vows to jail defaulters of COVID-19 protocols. FG vows to jail defaulters of COVID-19 protocols. It has 3 riders and it says IGP asks police to go after violators nationwide. PTF declares Kogi high-risk state, warns Nigerians not to visit. Lists 22 high-burdened local government areas in 13 states. Now, right at the down of the page, you find Southeast governors insist on open grazing ban. Southeast governors insist on open grazing ban. And you also have living in the north is becoming unbearable. Arewa youths speak out. So living in the north is becoming unbearable. You can find that on page 5 of Daily Independent. And still on the same page, you find criticism trails Yaman's military takeover, major cabinet reshuffle. And on page 2, you find Buhari, Atiku, Obaseki, Sanlu, Ibori, Oshoba, Sage, Afenifere, Mon, the media mogul, Tony Momo. Those are the headlines on Daily Independent. If you want to get more stories, you should pick a copy of the Daily Independent.
But it's quite clear, though, that this morning the topic across Nigeria today is either COVID-19 or insecurity. You know, the farmer headers clashes or COVID-19. I think it's before 2 weeks now. That's like back to back to back. Everybody started talking about COVID-19 or they're talking about the farmer headers clashes. What is your reaction to you know, these two issues?
Okay, I think of course these are the issues on the front. These are the issues on the front burner, and of course, if they are not effectively tackled, we will still keep talking about them. You know, even weeks after, days after. So let's see how this pans out. Let's see how this pans out. Particularly for the COVID-19, I feel there has to be a lot of sensitization. Maybe Nigerians think this is a fluke. Maybe they think this is not. This is just one story, you know, that we always hear all the time. But then I think there has to be a lot of advocacy. There has to be a lot of sensitization to ensure that citizens know that this continued flagrancy, you know, as regards the COVID-19 protocols, is not going to cut it at all. It's going to put every one of us at risk, you know. So I think there has to be a lot of sensitization, advocacy, particularly from, you know, everyone, from government, from public stakeholders, from private organizations. All hands have to be on deck, quite frankly.
Because there's something that's been on my mind, because I spoke to quite a number of persons about, you know, the sanction. If you're not wearing a face mask, you're going to add a 6 month jail term or a fine. And then a lot of persons are saying there should be more sensitization instead of, you know, punishing people. And then there are people that have the opinion that we have been sensitizing people as if the first wave went, and then there was a lot of sensitization, and then we're in the second wave, and then so there's been a discrepancy in like public opinion.
Yeah, I really understand that aspect, you know, but another angle we can come from is also to make the sanctions a bit stricter. You know, when people see that, oh, they've been culprits, you know, people have been sanctioned for those disregard of the COVID-19 protocol, I think it will help to change the mindset. I think it's basically about changing the perception and the mindset of people to know that this is real and we're not doing this because we want to do it. We're doing it because of your health is important. And if you keep yourself safe, in turn, you're keeping everybody around you safe. So I think these are some of the measures that everyone, both government, private organizations, religious bodies, because sometimes you go to churches and, you know, there's a total disregard for the COVID-19 protocols.
Yes, I think on one of the headlines, Kant told religious leaders to be wary of, you know, overconfidence. You know, they'd be like, oh, let's have a believe in God, blah, 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 blah. You know, and Nigerians are very religious people too. Yeah. So where do you now draw the line between, you know, obeying instructions and
you know? Like we're going to keep encouraging with our platform that our viewers take very seriously the COVID-19 protocols and keep themselves safe, because that's the only way we are going to stay alive together, you know.
And if you're Christian like me, I know the Bible does say you should have respect for authorities and you know, the government as well. So if the government says wear your face mask, please do wear your face mask and take precautions. I mean, I do know that you have confidence in God, but still help save, you know, lives. Not everybody has faith and belief like you. So yes, so that's it for the newspaper headlines for this morning. We're going to go on a quick break, and when we do get back, it's going to be time to take you into my favorite segment of the program, what's trending on social media.
North to South Africa, East to West Africa, TOS TV Network is your digital-first Pan-African news network, bringing you news from across the continent. Visit our website www.tostvnetwork.com and follow us on social media at TOS TV Network on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Watch us on television, channel 138 on TSTV Africa.
Born into an Orthodox Jewish family who emigrated from Russia to the United States in the 1930s, Lawrence Harvey Ziegler, popularly called Larry King, was born in Brooklyn, New York City on November 19, 1933. Losing his father to a heart attack at the age of 9 resulted in King, his mother and only sibling, his brother, going on government welfare. After a series of setbacks in life, King gained his first job in radio in Miami, Florida. The manager of a small radio station hired him to clean up and perform miscellaneous tasks. When one of the station's announcers abruptly quit, King was made an immediate replacement. His first broadcast was on May 1, 1957. Shortly before he went on air, Larry chose the surname King, which he got from an advertisement in the Miami Herald for King's Wholesale Liquor, because, according to his general manager, Ziegler was too difficult to remember. Within 2 years, he legally changed his name to Larry King, which became a trademark till his death. He featured in lots of radio and TV shows till 30th January 1978, when he introduced his own show, The Larry King Show. In June 1985, Larry King Live began on CNN. On CNN, Larry King Live was the longest-running television show hosted by the same person on the same network and in the same time slot, and was recognized for it by the Guinness Book of World Records. He retired in 2010 after tapping 6,000 episodes of the show. The uniqueness of his show was his direct and non-confrontational approach to his interviews, of which he did over 60,000 interviews. In March 2012, King co-founded Aura TV with a Mexican business tycoon, Carlos Slim, where he hosted his own show, Larry King Now. In May 2013, the Russian-owned RT American network announced that they struck a deal with Aura TV to host the Larry King Now show on its network. This stirred up controversies in America. King remained active as a writer and television personality. With a profile like King's, he received many honorary and broadcast awards, too numerous to mention. Married 8 times to 7 different women, King had 5 children and 9 grandchildren, as well as 4 great-grandchildren. His actions as a philanthropist cannot be ignored. In 1987, King survived a major heart attack, which led to the founding of the Larry King Cardiac Foundation, a non-profit organization that paid for life-saving cardiac procedures for people who otherwise would not be able to afford them. In September 2017, King stated that he had no intention of ever retiring and expected to host his programs until he died. And so it was till 23rd January 2021.
TOS TV Network mobile app is now available. You can now catch up on our breaking news, stream our programs live, watch out for the latest update on sports and politics as they unfold. You can also get notifications for our upcoming programs and events. All these on our TOS TV Network mobile app, available on Apple Store and Google Play Store. TOS TV News from Africa by Africans.
Being a journalist means in-depth analysis that unravels hidden truths, that question the status quo and fact-checks government.
These criminal elements hiding under the cloak of surveillance contractors are the APC elements.
Do you have facts to prove that? Being a journalist means waking up every day with a burning desire for peace, equity, and justice for all citizens.
with being told that the choice you have is to take the lesser of two evils.
It means patriotism via the prism of objectivity and accountability. It means giving my platform to the masses to discuss issues that matter to them.
Some of them, if they bring budget, and the budget they look. Some of them sleep. They're going to ask how much we are on. I have it.
Thereby shaping government policies and laws. My name is Usasu Igbenegbu, and I am the People's Journalist.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us here on The Conversation, reaching you live from TUS TV, your digital first Pan-African television. My name is Sazé Cecil and I've been your anchor for the show this morning together with
Adesuwa Osweyi.
Now it's now time for us to look at what's trending on social media. That's favorite time. It's where we bring in Adesuwa.
Yes. Okay, so the leader of the independent or indigenous people of Biafra, that's IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has been trending on social media, especially on Twitter. Twitter trends are very, very, catchy. And so he has been trending alongside the activist Aisha Yusufu. They've been going back and forth with each other. And this is because of Aisha Yusufu's reaction to actions of the Eastern Security Network. So here's what happened. Fulani herdsmen were, somewhere in Abia State. They were chased out, and while chasing them out, the people of the ESN, that's the Eastern Security Network, started killing their cattle. And then Aisha Yusufu, being an activist, kicked against that and said, no, you can't do that. And that, sparked reaction from Nnamdi Kanu. And he said, I'm going to read out some of the things that he said. He says, we won't tolerate, okay, no, I'm going to start from here. If you are one of the zoo animals suffering from an advanced form of Stockholm syndrome, may it kill you there. We in the East are not, have never been, and can never be slaves to any bunch of retards. Ask the British. We won't tolerate any Aita or Fulani herdsmen menace in the East. You may be comfortable with your wretched Fulanized existence where you are, but we won't live with that rubbish in the land of the rising sun. Where were you when our people were being slaughtered, raped and kidnapped in Istiquato? Talkative lunatics like Aisha Yusufu. Then he wanted her to be careful and stuff like that. And so reactions have traced that all over Twitter, and I'm going to take a few of those tweets here. This one is from Akufai Jonah. It says, it beats, okay, if he was reacting to a statement, so I'm going to read the statement first. It says, how much is dollar to naira? You haven't suffered enough, I see. You should always add this regime to your list of artists we sing to, because you're okay with the way things are now. Use your heads and pray for something great. And then he, reacting to that, says, it beats my imagination to see educated folks singing praise and glorifying people like El Rufai, Buhari, Shekau, Sunday Igboho, Nnamdi Kanu, and MC Oluomo. And then this is from Ogbeni Dikpo. It says, political leaders from Southeast need to openly caution the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The Eastern Security Network is not a state actor. They cannot make laws and enforce them. SE elites and intellectuals must nip this at the bud quickly. And then replying to Ogbeni Dikpo is Chixie McCollins. It says, has Miyetti Allah been cautioned by the North? Has the North cautioned Hizbah police? Has the North abolished Sharia law? Nnamdi Kanu cannot be stopped for trying to protect himself and his people from these murderous agents. And then this person is replying to Aloy Ejimako. His name is Nna_Biafra. It says the same animals bashing Nnamdi Kanu have been sporting Sunday Igboho, who isn't backed by any stupid laws. What's even more disturbing is the way the media have been reporting on Sunday as opposed to MNK. MNK is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as they call him, as the iPod people call him. How would you react to this? I'd like to hear your reaction.
Wow. With all of the myriad of issues surrounding all of this, it begs the question, is Nigeria ready to still remain together as one? It's an important question that we need to ask, because across several discussion fora, there's been this question of restructuring.
Yes.
You know, the time is right, you know. And then, of course, there are several angles we can take restructuring from.
Yeah.
But you see, with the clamoring from the south, the southeast,
even from
the
the
north, and
yes.
even the west, like Sunday Igboho is here and saying that, oh, he's a foremost activist for the Yoruba people.
Yeah.
You know, so MNK has been doing what it's been doing for a very long time, gathering followers, you know, under the IPOB,
yeah.
you know, and there's been these pockets of division here and there. So it begs the question, is Nigeria really ready to be together as one, or do we just go our separate ways and let's see how that pans out? It's really a trying one, and I think government needs to really look at it. You know, it's not something that we will just discuss and move away. You know, the government really needs to sit down and look at it. There's been several documents, there have been several meetings where people have come together to provide solutions to this issue. So I feel that we need to revisit those reports. We need to revisit those documents and see, you know, which one of them can be applicable to our situation right now. So we can have, you know, a truly and prosperous Nigeria. Not everybody believes in that, in that one Nigeria, you know, mantra. But I think that government has to take the lead. This is a very sensitive issue. You know, it's not something we just discuss, you know, with some sort of levity. You know, it's something that is very serious, and government needs to take that charge. Government needs to take that leadership in trying to profile solutions. Yeah.
But I think the presidency has been doing something in line with that, because I think, was it last week that he was meeting with, you know, the Abbas, what they call
traditional rulers. Okay.
You know, from different factions, from the Yorubas, the Sultan of Sokoto, you know, trying to see, because I know these people have a huge influence on the population.
Exactly.
You know, so if he could get them, you know, to align the people, and then, you know, I think that would work to, you know, unifying Nigerians and seeing all of that. Because I know there was a time the leader of the Mieti Allah was saying, you know what, let's just separate this country because we're tired of being marginalized. Everywhere we go, the East, they don't want us, you know, the Fulani herders. The West, they don't want us. Even in the North, like Fulanis are not, you know, not part of us. So.
And there's been this statement from the Governor Umahi where he said again that grazing has been banned in the southeast, you know, and like you just said, you know, these political leaders and traditional rulers have a huge influence on their followers. So if the governor says that in southeast grazing ban, there's been a ban on grazing, then trust me, the people want to follow you know, that trend or that instruction, so to say. So that's why I said the government at the very top needs to be in the forefront of you know, the activities towards resolving this solution.
And then it trickles all the way down to
down to the followers.
Okay, thank you so much for joining the show this morning. It's been such an amazing conversation with Osaze here. Thank you for joining us. As we always say, be a part of the community. Do not forget to follow us across all social media platforms, TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's TOS TV Network. And check out our website, www.tostvnetwork.com. I am Adesa Walsui.
And I am Osaze Isesele. Thanks for watching.